My name is Dalia, and my final major project is called Kenopsia. Kenopsia is a word created by an author called John Koenig, and his work is basically a book called The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. Kenopsia is the eeriness of a room, now empty, that used to be bustling with people. When I read that definition, it threw me back to my old house where we would always basically pack and move, and every time I would look back and see the empty bedroom, I would always reminisce, since I was the most emotional one out of my other siblings. Even got to a point where when I moved into the next house, I even sketched how my old bedroom looked like. Literally every small detail, just so I don't forget how it looked, because I was a very nostalgic person, yeah. This word resonated with me, so that is why I'm basing this concept onto my project. So my project expands on the word Kenopsia, so it's not just about that eeriness vibe, it's also the nostalgic factor, the emotional vulnerability, just to let the game basically touch people's spirits and just remind them of their childhood. So my research question is, does the early 2000 period represent Generation Z's nostalgia? During the proposal, I researched different articles and autobiographies and essays to pinpoint that feeling, that definition of Kenopsia and the midpoint of Kenopsia and nostalgia. My mind was okay, if I need to find accurate feelings and honest opinions and stuff, you'd go to autobiographies because they use I, they talk about themselves a lot. Once I knew what this feeling was, I then wanted to transform it into a game. Kenopsia is a walking sim game where you play as a character called Vanessa, and across these 3 chapters there are 2 time periods, where in the second chapter you explore her younger self's bedroom. So I would say that the game embodies the feeling of Kenopsia through object design, and each detail in the bedroom symbolizes something from someone's childhood. So I have an example with me, and that would be CDs, where it would be the main aspect of the early 2000s before technology has developed and gotten faster. I'm pretty sure a lot of kids are now nostalgic just looking back at these because we don't use them a lot anymore, but having them there in your bedroom does make you, it brings a sense of comfort basically. Okay, another example would be Polaroids, a physical copy, a physical photo of a memory is also important for a factor in nostalgia. I've seen in a lot of images while I was brainstorming for the bedroom design that they would hang up Polaroid photos on the walls next to posters framed. The game's not heavily technical or mechanical, but its main purpose is to capture that feeling, the feeling of Kenopsia. After I completed the development of the game, I then moved on to testing. So the results of the questionnaires were very positive. Around 80% were satisfied with the visual aesthetic of the game, because it resonated with them and reminded them of the early 2000s. Testers especially highlighted the lighting of the room, which have the particle system, the stars. Their attention was drawn to the music too. The submission of my final major project is the artifact and the documentation based on the player test research. I'm very happy I get to put my idea forward, and because as a very nostalgic person, I always wanted to express myself in a form of media, so this FMP was my opportunity. I am happy so far with the progress I'm making, the cutscenes I'm animating. I don't think I've put this much effort into an animation before, just yeah. I've learned not to overscope because I did put a lot into the game. A lot, the cutscenes, and I did 3D model everything in the bedroom. I feel it's different because it feels more personal because of how long we spent on it, and it shows the effort we it shows how much we care when we put our all into this for a whole academic year. Yeah, so I think the FMP is very important.